Hey, welcome back to the channel for another video. Today I'll be showing you guys the new sub 250 gram quadcopter made by RUKO called the F11 Mini. It was released back in August of 2022 and is geared towards those who are beginners in the hobby or for those enthusiasts who just like to add it to their collection. So what I'm going to do here is run through a visual unboxing and show you all of the contents included in the box. As you can see, it looks like most DJI Minis that you've seen in the market these days. However, this one does have a nice, sleek design to it, compared to others that I've seen out there that are very cheap in design and build quality. So that's a plus for this one. So let's start off with the camera here. First of all, it comes with an easy-to-remove gimbal cover to protect the camera and the lens. And they've added these clear plastic side guards, which provide some protection to the camera in case of any unforeseen mishaps during flight. The camera's image sensor is a Samsung S5 K3H7, and it also uses a Cortex A17 processing chip, which of course always sounds good on paper. Now unfortunately, this only has a one-axis gimbal, so the video image is not going to be as stable as a quad with a 2 or 3-axis gimbal, so do keep that in mind. The camera can be adjusted up and down and has a 120-degree field of view. It can take photos in 4K quality at 4096 by 3072 pixels. And as for video, it can record in 2.7K HDR at 25 frames per second. You also have the option to save your photos and videos directly onto a micro SD card right over here on the side. It accepts high-speed cards with a maximum storage capacity of 128 gigabytes. And you can also have the photos and videos stored directly onto your phone, but the quality won't be the same as when you save it on a card. Just like every toy grade on the market, it does have an optical flow camera on the bottom to help it hover steadily at low altitude. The motors on the F11 Mini are 1503 kV brushless motors that are supposed to handle up to level 4 winds, which is a moderate breeze between 5.5 to 7.9 meters per second, or 12.3 to 17.6 miles per hour. They've also designed them with these dust filters to keep dirt from getting inside of the motors, which is a nice touch. It does come with 2 LiPo batteries that have a voltage of 7.6 and a 2100 milliamp hour capacity, which is stated to give a flight time of around 25 to 30 minutes per battery. So that's not bad for a quad in this category. The RC is very basic, as you can see, and it works on the 2.4 GHz frequency like all quads these days. The joystick gimbals do feel slightly toyish, but it's not as bad as other brands I've reviewed in the past. On the bottom, you have 2 handles that fold out, and in the middle you have the phone mount holder that also folds out. This here is the on and off button, and these here are the takeoff and landing, your compass calibration, and the return to home. On the top you have the buttons for the video and photo, and these are for tilting the camera up and down. Over here you have the antenna that also folds out, and it's an actual working antenna. Now the good thing about this remote is that it has an internal battery that's a 3.7 volt, 380 milliamp hour, which can last up to 10 hours. and you can recharge it here on the bottom using the provided mini USB charging cable. The video transmission operates on a 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency and has a transmission range of around 1640 feet or 500 meters. It also has an image feed option of 2K at 25 frames per second in the app, which I think is a highlight feature for this quad. I haven't seen this type of feature in any other quads of this grade, so that's pretty impressive. Anyway, let me show you guys how to connect it to the app and get it all started, and then we'll take it up for a short flight test. So first you turn on the quad. Then turn on the remote. Press the left joystick up and down to pair the quad to the RC. Now go to your network settings on your phone and connect to the RUKO Wi-Fi address. Make sure you allow all of the app's permissions like location and camera. Once connected, open up the RUKO Mini app. You'll now be shown a starter guide video as well as the step-by-step instructions to get it started. But for this quick demonstration, I'll be skipping that. Click on Connect and you should be able to have an FPV video feed. It will ask you to calibrate the compass, so go ahead and do so. After that, it will ask you to calibrate the gyroscopes. Once that's done, you can switch from GPS to altitude mode by pressing this button here. Keep in mind that it will only work indoors when you put it in altitude mode. GPS mode is only used for outdoors. To start up the motors, push the left joystick up. And to stop the motors, push it down. Alright, so I'm out here with the F11 Mini, about to take her up. But before I do that, I want to run through the app real quick and show you guys what we have here. So I'll start with the bottom left is your radar map. And if you click on that, you'll get your actual map for route planning. On top of that, you have your smart features, which is the GPS follow. It follows the RC, obviously, fly around, which is orbiting, route planning, split screen, lens angle, joystick, and recording. So this actually records audio. You have on top of that your return home and your takeoff button. On the middle of the screen is your distance, your height, your horizontal speed, and vertical speed in meters per second. You have your photo and video albums here, which are stored either to your phone and your SD card if you have one inserted. Here is the button to take a picture. It takes a couple of seconds to take a picture there. Boom. And here is your video button. On top of that is to format your card. I already have it formatted, so I'll cancel that. And in your settings, you have for your parameters, you can have it in beginner mode, which limits you to 30 meters. And just take it off and you have 500 meter distance and a altitude distance of 120 meters. To store your video, you can store it at the default, which is at 25 frames per second, or you can store it in 50 frames per second in smooth. Your real-time image transmission is at 720p, which is the default. And if you switch it over here, you'll get the 25 frames per second high resolution. And over here is the image transmission parameter display, and you can turn that off or on. This over here is where you track all of your flight records, how to find your drone if it gets lost, and you have your export flight log, so in case you have issues with it, you can send it back to RUKO for evaluation. And these three little buttons here are to switch from miles per hour, meters per second, or kilometers an hour. And over here on the bottom, you can see all of the information, your UAV ID, the version, the Wi-Fi version, and the app version. Alright, so what do I think about the RUKO F11 Mini? It's definitely a fun quad to fly and play around with, but it does have some obvious limitations to it. The design looks good, and it does fly great, but when it comes to the video quality, it suffers tremendously due to it not having that 3-axis gimbal stabilizer. Now the photos look really good for a toy-grade product, especially if you're a beginner just starting out in the hobby and just want something cheap to fly and learn with. I do recommend first-timers keeping it in beginner mode until you get the hang of it, which would limit you to only around 30 meters or so. Also make sure you choose an open field or area without any obstructions or interferences to fly at. Anyway, I think that's a wrap for this one. Hope you all enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to add a like before you go, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay good, and I'll catch you on the next one.